evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, the largest single-screen drive-in in the United States. We're certainly glad you could be with us this evening, and don't forget the concession stand is open with all kinds of great things to eat and drink.
89.3 Mahoning Drive-In Radio, your old friend Virgil back once again for another exciting episode of the podcast. As you guys know, the only podcast dedicated to the love and revival of our beloved drive-in culture. Joined as always by my co-host and general manager extraordinaire, Mark. Say hello, my friend.
Hello.
When it comes to the cinematic landscape of the drive-in, we really do want to shine a light on as many possible businesses as we can. And there's always the argument, what makes up a drive-in? The existing screen, the large lot, what are the qualifications? Well, in this case, today we're talking to the owner of the Misquamicut Drive-In, Caswell Cooke, which is very much run out of a resort town in Westerly, Rhode Island. And this was put together by their business association and has been entertaining tourists for many, many years. Super excited to get into things. Welcome, Caswell Cooke.
Well, thanks for having me.
So we were chatting a little bit before we started recording. And with a lot of these podcasts, we have a little bit of history with the owners, with the drive-ins. In this case, we don't know each other at all. And we weren't familiar with your drive-in until we started doing some research. But your place is super unique. You're in a resort type of town, a lot of tourism. You guys opened up in 2010. But why don't you tell us, how did this all start for you guys?
Yeah, so we're in Westerly, Rhode Island, which is on the shoreline. Rhode Island's kind of like, where we are is kind of halfway between Boston and New York, which makes it really convenient to go to either place. And we're pretty close to Mystic, Connecticut, which a lot of people around the country have heard of that area. So we have a resort community, and our Misquamicut Business Association started in 2000. I was the founding executive director. Here I am 23 years later. So I spent 16 years on our Westerly Town Council, just got off the council last November, and I sell real estate and I have a little restaurant on the beach. But one of my jobs, my part-time job, is the executive director of the Business Association, which is made up of about 160 businesses, 60 of which are located in Misquamicut. We do festivals a couple times a year. We do classic car shows every week. We promote the beach. We have a road crew that picks up all the trash and keeps the beach area and the streets really nice and beautified, all that stuff. And so the drive-in is one of the many things that we offer. And it's really kind of unique because it kind of happened by chance, and we kind of threw it together. And literally the first year I was running a DVD player and a projector out of the back of my Jeep. Like, that's how it started.
Tenacity. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So it grew from there.
That's amazing. So your involvement with this puppy, I mean, we're going to focus on the drive-in, although there's so many cool things that are going on. Even looking at the aerial, you guys have like an amusement park going on. You have water slides. It's a whole, I take it, summer deal where you guys just get that humongous push. But was it a group decision to say like, hey, we have all these cool things that people are coming in for? It would be really cool to drive in?
It wasn't. So it kind of goes back. So we had a drive-in in Westerly, like so many towns used to have a drive-in.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the Westerly Drive-In Theater. And it went out of business in 1987. And I remember that because my house, if you went through the 3 acres behind my house, you ended up, the next property was the drive-in. So I remember as a kid, seeing the back of that drive-in screen. And I was little, I was born in 74, so I'm 48. So I was probably like, 10 years old. It was like 1984. I was probably going there. I think I saw Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. I think I saw maybe like Goonies when it came out, Gremlins maybe. I mean, I remember seeing it, and then the place just died. And I would wait every day for the bus to school, and I had to walk a little bit out past my driveway. And I had to stand in front of the dilapidated drive-in sign for years.
Just
and then
made
years
you
later,
look at it, just like
so it was just always this drive-in thing was always in my head. And Years later, the drive-in property got sold. It became a nice golf course, and they took down the sign, and it was all gone. So part of that was just like me, like wanting something nostalgia. So I said to my friend John Gonzalez at the time, he's like, wouldn't it be cool if we had a film festival and we could do it maybe inside the Windjammer, which is like kind of a larger club at the beach that can fit hundreds of people? And I said, well, yeah, that might be cool, but wouldn't it be cooler to do it outside? And it was kind of like that. It was literally like that. So I went to my friend George Tattersall, and George was the president of our association at the time. And I said, can't we do some kind of drive-in thing? And he's like, we can. So so this is how it's very weird. What's that?
It's destined. That's what we say about our journey. All three of us is we fell in love with the drive-in experience as kids. The reason that we do what we do is because of that deep love for drive-ins. All of ours are now developed over fully. And this is a means of keeping the dream alive. So you are truly responsible for what we're about to jump into. So it's possible. You get the confirmation. It's possible. What's the next step? I mean, looking at the area, normally the first question is, are you guys fully developed? Do you guys have, a rural setting? You guys are way developed. You're a beach town. So what went into that decision and where to put it and all that?
It was a little bit, it's kind of fate. So there used to be these 3 nightclubs at the beach that in the 70s and 80s were like hot place to go. And bands came through there like Boston and people like Rick James. It was like this.
Yeah.
It was a spin. You know what I mean? And I was a little too young to have experienced it. I was a kid. But so what happened was, the long story short, in 2000, the guy who owned it got busted for like coke and all this other stuff. And the town came in about 2 years before I joined the town council, and they were very wise. They purchased the property where these 3 nightclubs were. 2 of them were on the beach, and one of them was across the street from the beach where our drive-in is now. Yes. And so when I got on the town council, we basically said, well, we got to take these buildings down. They're dilapidated. So we paved Paradise and put up a parking lot, literally. And we used it. So the parking lots are used for beach parking during the day. And, you charge $25, $30, whatever. So then we said, well, maybe we could use like a tourist center where people could stop in and go to the bathroom and get tourist information. So we built a little tourist information center. So that's what it was. And my business association kind of leased the tourist center for the first few years. So it was that property that I was like, geez, this is like it's a parking lot. And after 6 o'clock, when everybody the beach parking's over for the day, this is the place to do it.
There. Oh my God.
So we went to the town and said, can we do this? And they were like, well, it sounds cool to us. So we had these, because these big festivals we do, we needed to store like water lines and fencing. So we had this big Sealand container, those big green cargo containers.
Oh yeah, the monster shipping containers. Yeah.
So my friend George said, well, let's do this. Let's stack 2 of them on top of each other, and I'll build you a screen on the front of it. And that's our screen.
In looking at it, that was totally what we were thinking, is like, talk about using the materials that you have around you and making it work. Where we know, after talking to Selby Screens, it's not a small undertaking to build a screen. So you probably saved yourself a small fortune by finding that little trick. But it's really cool. It's the 2 containers, and then off the front, almost like a television, it has like a lift away from the containers and then the screen in front of it. Am I correct?
Exactly. And we've added on to it, make it a little bigger. I mean, the screen is not as big as any other drive-in. I mean, it's probably one of the smallest drive-in screens there are. I mean, there's only one other drive-in in Rhode Island. And, they've got 3 screens, and it's huge. And I mean, we're not that, but
sure.
We added to it, and then, so with the first year, we literally, it was a projector out of the back of my Jeep, and we had to set it up every time. We had to put like cones out where people parked, and it was, it was real. Yep. It was really like kind of, and then I had this little AM transmitter, how it goes. It was like an AM train. And that's how we did it for the first couple of years. And then I learned about like, you got to license these movies, or I learned all this by doing, but what made it work was that it was a parking lot that was already set up. We have the tourist information center, so the bathrooms are there. So then we just started, like, we added a hot dog cart, and then eventually we were like, well, why don't we just use this window as a takeout window? And we have, now we have popcorn and hot dogs and candy and sell
Yeah.
T-shirts. And then we got, creative and started, selling the tickets online. Oh my God, you can do things without cash. And then we got the screen bigger. And then it was one year that our local tourism council was like, is there anything we could do for you to help this drive-in? Because it started to become like a thing. And I said, well, it'd be really nice if we could have like some kind of a projection shed. So they like went to Home Depot and bought us a $3,000 nice little shed, and we kind of retrofitted it and put in some shelving, and bought a little bit better projector and a little better equipment, and that's what we have now. So now we employ like we have like 10 employees, and so in our lot where the town owns. And I'm going to give you another Native American word in addition to Misquamicut. It's called Wuskinaw Beach, which is the little beach right there. And it's the parking lot is called Wuskinaw. So go ahead and say that 10 times fast. But so that parking lot, we can comfortably put like maybe 120 cars. And then when we sell the 120, then we go into the next lot, which is owned by a guy that everybody calls Flyhawk. And he of course is not using his parking lot at night, so we can fit an extra 200 cars there if we needed to. So we could, do like 300 cars, and we have on occasion.
Right.
But most of the time, we fill our lot and like get about 100 cars. That's kind of our usual,
well, that's
thing.
the look, looking at the pictures, the overhead, you don't need a gigantic screen. The lot's not humongous. You're able to work with what you got and give the tourists that come into town a classic drive-in experience. And again, with what you got going there. What I was totally going to ask about your concession situation. So popcorn, what do you guys offer? Is it just your traditional kind of drive-in fare?
Yeah, I think so. We try to, so Coca-Cola is like really the local guy really likes the drive-in. And so we have like a deal where they supply all the Coca-Cola for free for the summer, and we sell it as a fundraiser, which just kind of helps the drive-in survive.
Yeah.
But I always like want to sell the glass bottles, so it's kind of retro, and I love watching these like 15-year-old kids try to figure out how to open a glass bottle of Coke. So we have the little hook thing on the opener on the wall.
Oh my gosh.
And if I had a dime for every time I taught somebody how to open a Coke, but that's part of the retro experience, right?
That's right. Yeah. It's all a learning curve when people come, that even though it's such a simplistic layout, screen, building, projection booth, it's like, what do I do? It's you got to kind of guide them sometimes. It's going back
especially if it's like, I love seeing like, two 17-year-olds on a date, and they pull in and they got no clue what this is about. And so, you can see the nervousness on their face. It's like it's not a little screen they can hold in their hand. They're kind of like, what is this? But it's like, it's really cool. And so then you see the parents bring their kids, the whole thing. And it's like another generation that gets to experience something that was gone for a while. And I think, Westerly, so from 1987 to 2010, we had no drive-in. And I don't know of a lot of communities that have actually brought their drive-in back, and
literally like rebuild it from the ground up.
Yeah. And I mean, we're probably a couple miles away from where the original one was and whatever, but it's still there. And we still have this thing that's cool. So we open like mid-May, the week after our Spring Fest, and we'll go through September. Occasionally we'll go into October. It kind of depends on the weather and, how things are. And in the preseason and the postseason, we do Friday, Saturday. And then July and August, we do 5 nights a week.
Heck yes. So I take it majority is the tourists, but do you guys find there's, folks who are living there long term that are a big fan of coming back to the drive-in, especially that connection to your childhood drive-in?
Yeah, it's I don't know what the ratio is, but I would say most of our local people have come to the drive-in and are repeat customers. We sell season passes, and we do sell some of those. I don't know if it's 50-50, but maybe not in July and August, but definitely preseason and postseason. It's mostly local people. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, people just know it. A lot of people, we have a bunch of hotels at the beach, so we do have a lot of day trippers to the beach. But the people that stay, in the hotels and are there for a week, and we have like 500 rental cottages at the beach, so the people, they stay a week at a time. And a lot of
Yes.
these people come back the same week every year, so you kind of start to recognize people. Oh yeah, yeah, and it's
They're
just part of
back.
their thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of their thing.
I am like getting so excited because making friends with drive-in owners as owners ourselves and pushing the culture forward the way that we're trying to. The idea of us coming out and visiting, like, oh my gosh, does your place sound the most appealing? Where it's like we're going to take a straight up vacation and check this place out because it sounds just incredible.
Well, it is. It's such a unique experience because I don't really know how many drive-ins are located at the beach.
And that's the fun thing about doing this is everybody has something else that they had to work with or work with for whatever reason. And you guys functioning in an area that's truly tourism, truly, pushed by pretty much the beach area, it creates a whole dynamic for your business and what you guys decide to do.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, and people, it's so funny the movies they want to see. I've tried to play like new releases and stuff. They don't want to see it. They want to see Jaws. They really
They're
want
on
to
the
see
beach.
Jaws.
Yeah.
They,
How often do
they,
you play Jaws? Is it literally like every other?
um, well, there was this thing where we couldn't play it for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
And so it was really, people were like, "Why aren't you playing Jaws?" So we finally have it back this year. I would say, like, we always open the season with Jaws in May. We play it a lot, sometimes even once a week when we get into July and August. I mean, we might do it on a Sunday, not on a Friday night, but
Right.
it's definitely Jaws, followed by Goonies, followed by Back to the Future, followed by it's the
You go with bread and butter.
yeah
The
yeah
guaranteed home runs. It's what the families would want to see. Now, are you
it
doing your own
is.
booking or do you work with a booker?
We just pick the movies and go through Swank Motion Pictures.
We love Swank.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we do it. But then we started to get creative. I mean, obviously, COVID, we were like the thing. As you guys know, the drive-ins became the thing again. So we did Westerly High School's graduation 2 years in a row at the drive-in. We did actually 3 or 4 area high schools use the drive-in for their graduation. We built a stage in front of our drive-in so we could do concerts. So we even had, like, who do we have? There was this group from the 60s you may or may not know, Herman's Hermits, Peter Noon.
May or may
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
know.
I
Now
don't
you're
know
talking
some.
our language.
Okay, well, so Peter came down and did a concert with just him and his guitar player during like the height of COVID.
Yeah.
So we have him on the stage and project him onto the screen. Sometimes we'll do the Grateful Dead thing where the band plays for an hour, then we play a Grateful Dead concert film, and then go back to the band. And then we started getting into this thing where we would bring some of the actors from the movies that maybe not the A-list act. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want them to be listening and be like, "What are you calling me, a B-list actor?" But we brought in like we've had like Christine DeBelle from Meatballs. She was with Meatballs with Bill Murray. She came last year. She's coming this year. We got J.J. Cohen a few times he was one of Biff's gang in Back to the Future. We had the guy who played the maitre d' in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And they have fun. They come down. We give them a hotel room on the beach, which pretty much seals the deal for them.
Yep.
And they spend a couple nights, and we do a Q&A on stage at 8:15 or whenever we start the movie 9. And then they sign autographs and take pictures, and then we play the movie. And I find it fun to sit there and watch the movie with someone who was actually in it. So
You're talking our language.
Yeah.
That's
we
really
try to add a little bit of that to it. We're trying to get that the Kintner boy from Jaws to come this year, but he's not responding.
Hey, if you need us to connect the dots, you let us know.
Get him for me. He's only up the street. He only lives like a small plane ride away.
Yeah, we can definitely connect those dots for sure.
Yes, we do all that stuff that a lot of drive-ins already do, but we have fun, and it's a fun thing.
You guys have something unique there. Like you said, it's an additional draw. For us, sometimes it's we got to jump the extra hurdle to sell them on what's special about the Mahoning, the fact that we show 35 millimeter, we're a classic house, and, revival cinema and all that stuff. For you, it's like, hey, we're located on the beach and it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Come on
Well,
out.
that's true, and
Yeah.
also it's giving, like, so if a person comes to stay in one of our 400 hotel rooms or one of our 500 beach cottages, they're here for a few days, and it's like, what do you do? Okay, you're going to sit on the beach during the day, obviously go swimming and do your thing, but
Yep.
it's like, what is there to do? And so they'll go to, like, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun Casino, which are in Connecticut, like 20 minutes away. They'll go to the Mystic Seaport or the Mystic Aquarium. They'll go to Newport, Rhode Island, and check out the mansions. They might take a 12-minute plane ride from Westerly to Block Island and check. But, it's like there's things to do, but they want to know what they can do that night or whatever. And the drive-in is like, it's so easy. It's like, you just get in your car and you drive right down the street. And most of the people that, come to stay with us, they're driving their own car. They're not like flying in, and it's that not that kind of place really. So you drive your own car from wherever you came from. So it works out perfect, and they enjoy it.
It's such a sell. It sounds amazing. So, as far as other things going on in the area, it sounds like your plate is incredibly full. If I were somebody who was coming into town, I'm sure this is practically your job. What would you say are kind of the big draws? I mean, I'm a child, so obviously the water park.
Well, the sad news is that the water slide got taken down last
year.
I know. After 40 years, it just wasn't making the money, and we have a short season, and so now the property's up for sale. And what's making me nervous is when someone buys that property, this drive-in screen is right on the property line, and I know they're going to be like, we don't want that thing there. So I'm already, like, I already got my board of directors thinking, okay, we may have to reposition this thing in another area of the parking lot, but one way or another we'll survive. But anyway, your question is, why would you come to Misquamicut? I mean, it's the longest stretch of beach in Rhode Island. And if you live in like a place like Connecticut, or like, from New York City down to Connecticut, the whole Connecticut coastline is sort of protected by Long Island. So there's no waves and there's no surf. And we're the first beach on the open ocean after the Connecticut Sound. So when you're standing on the beach in Misquamicut, you can look 40 miles out and see Montauk Point. Sometimes I'm looking for Billy Joel's boat, but so we have surf and waves and surf, sun, sand. We've got gorgeous beaches. We have great restaurants. We have fresh seafood. We have, lots of things to do, whether it's, shops or classic car shows or, nightclubs, nightlife. I'm a DJ too. So like at night, you'll find me across the street at the Windsor being a DJ. Yeah. I have.
Do you have a moniker?
Too.
What's your moniker? DJ Caswell? I mean, that's got a nice ring.
I'm literally DJ Caswell Cooke.
That's shit. Yes.
I'm too well, I could have been like DJ Kazzy Kaz, right? If it was the 90s.
True. That's true. It's got a nice ring as well.
and then I have a yacht rock band called Caswell Cooke and the Peel and Eat All Stars. Don't ask.
Oh my gosh, dude, I'm telling you, we are one of a kind. I grew up on a stage, sang in bands all my life. I'm gonna come down. I'm telling you,
You have to. We can hook you guys up with we can hook you up with a nice hotel on the beach.
Oh my gosh, stop. Yeah. If my lady were in here, she'd literally be shaking me like, let's do this.
Well, do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it.
We're going to make this happen.
I'll take care of it for you. We'll take care of it for you. We want you guys to, because then you'll talk about it. So you'll be like, our favorite drive-in besides our own is.
What other drive-in? Yeah, let us stay on the beach.
Yeah, right. And then, after the drive-in, you come over and, you can see the beach's coolest DJ, probably the only one, but
that's right, doing it up.
So so we got all that stuff going, and then it's just like a place that's just, it's kind of magical. It's weird because it's like Memorial Day to Labor Day. It's like comes alive, and then it just kind of the boards go on the window. I mean,
Sure.
down at the beach. I mean, the rest of our town is normal year round, but the strip, as we call it, where it's
Right.
like right on the beach. There's not a lot going on in the winter. Obviously, a couple places stay open, but and people are starting to open up now.
Do you find demand at all to keep the drive-in open, or I take it just makes no sense when it's not tourist season?
Yeah, I mean, it just fizzles. When you get to the end of September, it's kind of time. But we have gone as far as Halloween on a couple of occasions, and
Nice.
done that sort of thing. But
We get a
and
huge
then
push October because of Halloween. It's our spooky season, so everybody's into it.
I think we find that when you get past September, people's attention turn towards corn stalks and picking apples or something rather than summery stuff. So
Yeah.
we live in our time, and then we go chill for the winter.
Love that. And I take it gets pretty cold there too, so you guys have to kind of button up in that way.
I mean, it's warmer here on the coast than it is most places inland. We don't get a lot of snow, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it was actually nice this winter. I mean, when I say nice, it was like didn't go below the 30s, but except one night it went to -2. But otherwise, yeah, it's not bad along the shore. But it's just when you can't go swimming and stuff. What is there? What else is there to do? And most of these hotels, I mean, they've extended the season now. It was a couple of hotels that actually stayed open until November, so
Right.
it's getting there. And so yeah, I would love to keep the drive-in going a little bit longer if we could. We're going to try this year to go through to Halloween. That'll be really fun if we can do that. Just play some horror flicks, and then we do
Yeah.
we always at the beginning of the year, and then again in September we do Rocky Horror Picture Show, and we bring in this group, the RKO Army from like Providence and like
Shadow
Boston.
cast it. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that, and we have fun doing that. So we've kind of learned, but it was just interesting because it literally started, in the back of my Jeep, and and
It's
now it's
grown.
like, and it has grown. And then during COVID, we went cashless, and then we decided not to go back to cash. So everything's, you got to you go to the website, you can sit in your car and order from the concession stand, come up and it's ready, that kind of
Boom.
thing. So,
Come on.
yeah.
Well, hit us, DJ Kaz. What do you guys charge for admission to get in?
25 a car.
Oh, you do carload pricing.
Yeah, why not? I don't want to count people.
That makes total sense in the situation you're in because practically everybody that's in town is a family. So they're getting a
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, exactly. They are. So we do that, and then our concession prices are pretty, reasonable. I mean, we're not like, it's not like if you go to the
That's
movie
all that
theater.
matters. The
Yeah.
AMC Regal people are used to paying $17 for a large popcorn, so 10 is a deal.
I don't even think I think we're 6 or something.
Yeah, that's right around where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a couple bucks for a Hershey bar or whatever, 2, 3, I forgot. I got to look at the prices because I got to figure that out for this year.
Yeah.
We try not to. We don't want to make people mad, because you don't want to get people saying, "Oh, they're trying to take you for a ride."
They're gouging us. 25
Yeah.
bills for the car. That is a great model. I think that's an enticer more than anything. You can't take a family out for $25 anymore anyway.
Well, we're lucky. I mean, we got really good advertisers on the screen, so we play their commercials, and we make a good amount of money from that, which helps pay most of the expenses. So it works out. And then we do the typical before the movie thing. We have like previews for like an hour, and my friend Chris Walsh and I we go through every old commercial we can possibly find to put up there. And I just found the Michael J. Fox First Kiss McDonald's 1980 commercial.
Classic.
I don't even think I knew that one existed, and I'm like, holy crap, So we play all those, and then what's that one from the 50s where the guy's like, a woman's like, I need to know how to make a decent cup of coffee or something.
Yes.
Those old Folgers ads where the husband is like berating his wife for making bad coffee. And then Mrs. Olsen shows up and she's like, dummy, use Folgers. And then their marriage is slightly better after that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I look for. I look for all those kind of commercials, and
you set the stage.
We do, and of course, since Coke is a sponsor, like I play the 1970, Hilltop commercial where they're all singing in perfect harmony. That I think those are cool, and so we do that, and then of course, obviously, we have to mix in the commercials with our people that are advertisers, which makes sense to pay the bills. But we mix it in, so it's like a cool experience, and we have we just go through. We basically comb YouTube every year to try to find something fresh. About let's all go to the lobby kind of thing and get ourselves.
As long as you got it in there, people will be happy. It's like
absolutely
when we ask people, or I'm out and about wearing the the brand, and they find out about the drive-in. That's all they want to know. Passion Pit, or are you playing Let's All Go to the Lobby? I take it that's not something you guys have to worry about too much, being such a tourist draw, or have you had those experiences where you've had to tap on the windows and calm some people down?
We really haven't. I mean,
I'd imagine it's not that setting. When you're by a water slide, it's kind of like, all right, let's keep
yeah, keep it in your pants. Yeah,
let's keep this cool.
But I don't know what they're doing in there. But we've had a couple, intoxicated people that we had to escort. But other than that, we've been really lucky at the drive-in without having, knock on wood, it's 13, 14. Yeah, 12, 13, 14, what is it? 13 years, and we haven't had an issue. The worst things that have happened to the drive-in screen were when Superstorm Sandy came up the coast, it knocked the whole thing down, and it was like half in the water, so we had to get a crane and raise money and have it put back. And then we had this thing, I'd never heard of this meteorological term before, but it was called a microburst, where it was literally 15 minutes of hurricane strength winds, and it was gone. And it knocked the screen down. It knocked the whole thing, the whole container. So we ended up having to build the town building official said, all right, guys, this is kind of haphazard. Let's do this right. So we had to build a cement foundation, anchor the thing down, and, make it official and legitimate so that it passed all kinds of inspections, which it did. And, it's very windy at the beach, especially in the winter. So it's amazing. We haven't lost a panel or two, but we haven't. So
it's crazy. Well, we can really respect the DIY, do-it-yourself mentality. We had a documentary shot about us, and one of the big sells in the documentary is our overcoming the hurdle of digital and finding a way to get a digital picture up on that screen. And it sounds like you were kind of in the same boat. It's like, I have this dream. I am going to figure out any way to make it work, even if I'm the guy that's there running it, even if I'm the guy who has to be booking the films, whatever. It's that type of push that brings these experiences back for the next generation and keeps the drive-in culture alive. And even though you're so different than every other drive-in that we've talked to, it's so amazing to hear that it all boils down to the passion,
I think so. And I love the, our staff over the years obviously changes, because we usually get people that, start working for us when they're 14. And then they, by the time they're done with college, they're out. So you cycle through people, and as they get a little older into the college years, and they become management, whatever. But they love it. They love working at the drive-in. They're kind of proud of it. They think their friends kind of think it's cool that they work at the drive-in and wear the drive-in t-shirts.
Baby.
Yeah, well, it is.
Late nights, getting delusional, cooking hot dogs. It's a thing,
And we have a little shed that we have also in addition to the projection shed, where it's like a little green room for when we have the actors. It has a little, you can chill out. It's got air conditioning.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple nights where after DJing at the Windjammer, Caswell might have crashed in there.
Catch a couple Z's. Yeah. Well, that's got to be the perk too, is, I don't know how far that stretches in the whole town, but it sounds like you got your finger in the pies to be able to be like, all right, this is my town.
Well, after 16 years on the town council, I feel it's a great place to be, and people are appreciative, and people come up a lot. And if I'm at the store, my kids are always like, "Oh God, Dad, is there someone you don't know?" But they're mostly, it's mostly sometimes people bitch about something, but it's mostly positive stuff. We love what you've done for the community. Oh, we love the drive-in. oh,
Yeah.
thank you for doing this or that. And they like it. And they have, so it's just like, hey, that's what we do. Our job with the business association and what we do at the beach is to create memories. I mean, people always talk about the good old days. These are the good old days that we're creating right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. What we do, as much as we work to try to keep us rooted in nostalgia and also work to push forward with future thought and new ways of pushing the drive-in, it's inherently nostalgic. As soon as you think about a drive-in, pull onto the lot, that movie strikes up and you're outside under the stars, it takes you back. Even if you're somebody who hasn't experienced it, it takes us back. It's so strange. It's the magic, I think, in the sauce.
It is a strange thing because, I mean, I remember the drive-in when I was a kid, but it was obviously on its way out, on its last legs. So I never experienced the drive-in when it was like, the thing in the 50s or the 60s or whatever. Yeah. But it's kind of like, when I was actually thinking about something similar when I went to see Paul McCartney last year at Fenway. And, the lights come on and everyone's singing Hey Jude, 50,000 people. And I'm thinking, I feel nostalgia, but I wasn't even alive when the Beatles were together.
It's a drug. It really does.
Yeah.
And now Hollywood's run by it. Everything's run by it. I go down the cereal aisle with my kid, and it's like, kick back nostalgia cereals and old labels, and it's nuts. The world, has gone nostalgic. We're in a good business to be able to lean into that nostalgia.
It's every 20 years, like in the 70s, it was all about the 50s with American Graffiti or Grease or Happy Days, and they kind of just like, there's always this like, the disco revival in 1997, 98, it was 20 years. Yeah. It's very interesting. We book entertainment down here for our events, and I we have a certain amount of money. I can't bring in, the biggest stars in the world, but I can usually bring in somebody that had a hit in the 70s or 80s or something.
Yeah, what a thrill. Yeah,
but I was looking up. Vanilla Ice played. This is a little cool piece of trivia. So there was a nightclub on the exact spot where the concession stand is, and it used to be called the LA Beach Club. It was an under 21 club. But in its final year before it was done in 1999, it was called the Poseidon Room, and one of the acts that came through was Vanilla Ice. And I remember I didn't book him, but I had a TV show at the time, the Caswell Cooke show. You would love it if you Google that. You'll see my old episodes. It's hilarious.
Yes.
So Vanilla Ice. So I had to go pick him up at Logan Airport, and anyway. The whole thing is that he was like at the bottom of the barrel playing at this little nightclub in Misquamicut Beach. And I looked him up this year to see how much to bring him to one of our festivals. And the guy's getting like $70,000. So,
wow.
So it's nostalgia, right? It's like, who thought that crap would be nostalgia.
Come fully around. I mean, he's got multiple shows. I heard he's like Bob Vila now making houses. It's a whole thing, His time is money, But if you bring him back in, you got to play Cold as Ice up on that screen. Just be like, look, come out. We'll play the movie. It'll be the jam.
Or we could do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, my gosh. We're playing it this year. And
there you go.
We're going to be doing that ninja rap.
Ninja rap. I'm going to stick with Goonies and Jurassic Park.
And Jaws. Yeah,
Probably
that's the move.
Smarter.
I tell you what, though, I don't know what you guys think about Jaws 2, but it draws just as well as Jaws 1 for me.
It's good.
Oh, dude.
It is.
We saw a revival screening of 3 and had a blast. And that's crazy.
Nobody plays anything other than the original, but 2 is solid. That would make
it is solid
double feature.
And now, as much as I love Michael Caine, I just can't play part 3 because it's just.
I know. Without the 3D, it loses its effect. The only reason I was into it because it actually had that pop,
I thought that was 4.
4, yeah. 3D. Jaws the Revenge is Michael Caine, the one that.
That was it.
He couldn't accept his Oscar for Hannah and Her Sisters because he was filming Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah, well, and it makes a lot of sense that a pissed off shark would follow you down to the Bahamas.
Yeah. If he wants revenge, he's getting it. Well, I want to give you the opportunity to plug the theater. Not that we haven't been doing this the whole time, but let people know where they can find all the information about the Misquamicut and all that fun stuff. You guys do socials, all that jazz?
So if you go to Facebook, it's Misquamicut Drive-In, or you can just go Misquamicut Beach, and it's Misquamicut. So you could follow the drive-in one or just the beach one, and then we're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok as just Misquamicut Beach.
TikTok, doing it up. Are you running the TikTok?
Why not? Why not?
No, I'm telling you, you're with the times. You know it. You're a DJ. You know how to do it. With us, it's always like asking the younger crew, like, is this cool enough? Or
Well, sometimes like I ask my daughter about certain songs before I play them.
That's the move.
Because she's 13, so it works out, you know?
Yep.
And then the website for the drive-in is very simple because nobody can spell Misquamicut. It's just mbadrivein.com. MBA.
Good choice. Good choice. Yeah. Every time I said it, I think I fumbled it.
We're going to be opening, I think, May 17th. If that's the Friday night, I think it's May 17th with Jaws. And actually, tomorrow, my guy Ron is going down. He's got himself a little one of those thingies so he can paint the screen. So we're going to repaint the screen starting tomorrow. So
Beautiful.
Get a little action down there. Yeah,
coming in fresh.
Why not? You know,
that's the way to do it.
But we can't afford that really expensive screen paint, so we use like traffic island paint.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, if you're able to repaint it on a regular basis, that'll get you through a season. No joke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to give the guys an opportunity as well to pick your brain. Mark, you got anything for our buddy Kaz?
Yeah. Well, one thing I just wanted to clarify: you guys are single features, right?
We are. That's all we can do.
So you don't have the intermission bump that a lot of theaters get. So you do all of your concession pre-show. And
no, like right in the middle of the movie, like we just push pause and we just play an intermission. And people get pissed and then they go pee.
They take an angry leak.
Yes, but then they end up buying stuff because it's 10 minutes. What are you going to do?
Well, it's funny. I used to do some indoor 35 millimeter retro shows at a theater near me in New Hampshire, and they were single features, and I would do the same thing. I would break the movie in the middle so that the theater would get that intermission money, and nobody ever seemed to really mind that much. So,
yeah, I don't think they really care. I think they're fine with it. They know we got to pay the bills.
That's bold and sassy and wonderful.
It is.
That was my only question.
Awesome. How about you, Jeff? Anything pop out?
I was just curious with the AM transmitter that you started out with. Do you still have that, or did you go to FM stereo?
Yeah, we're FM stereo. And then I also just, set up speakers up by the front. So if you're sitting, in the front, if you're in the front few rows, you don't even have to turn your radio on. And a lot of people are just, have their beach chairs and they sit up front anyway. So yeah, it's a combination of both.
All right, that's pretty interesting. I was wondering. Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Very cool. I don't know if this is going to stay in the podcast or not, but the connection with Coke, was that a personal connection? Like you said, the guy just started coming to the drive-in and likes what you do?
They just, the local bottling company isn't far away from us. It's like 20 minutes away. And they want to sell the beach. They want to be the official drink of the beach kind of thing. So they joined our association, and one of their guys is on our board. And it just kind of came. I said, we really could use the help. Can you just, give us what we want for beverages? And it just kind of, it's been like a decade they've been doing it, and they don't. I call every week with this order that's pretty big, and I'm waiting for like a bill someday. And
they'll hit you in 2025. Here you go.
So they, I keep it simple. We just do Coke, Sprite, Diet, and water.
That's the way to go. Again, nostalgia. We've found that people reject Pepsi at the drive-in, where it's just like, that ain't classic. What are you trying to push on us, you new waved?
Well, I don't think anything tastes better than a Coca-Cola in a glass bottle. It is something. It's something about it, and it just brings you back to when you could just take it out of those machines where you kind of hurt your hand trying to pull out the Coke, and then you try to open the bottle. But I just like it. Like I said, I like showing young people how to pop the top. I think it's hilarious.
Hell yeah. Well, brother, this has been such a treat. Keep doing what you're doing. You're keeping the drive-in alive in such a unique way that, for people that listen to this, we get emails all the time of my only dream is to run a drive-in. And I'm sure a lot of people aren't thinking about that. They're thinking about, I could go to a rural place, this and that. You have a built-in system that works with a season and a seasonal layout like the drive-in is. It's kind of perfect. So thank you for making the time, man. And thank you for keeping it alive.
Absolutely. I really appreciate being able to talk about it because there's very few people that even understand. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this podcast. And what we're finding is it's drawing in a fan base because it's niche. And there are people out there that so long for the innocence of the time of the drive-in now that the world has gone truly insane. So it's really nice to be able to take a step into the minds of the people that make the magic happen. And it inspires, as guys who run a drive-in, it's got us thinking where it's like, man, Vanilla Ice, I wonder if we could get him for 70.
If we can talk him down to 69.5.
That's right. It's like, we got to make this work. All right.
All I can say is word to your mother.
There it is. Well, on that note, Jeff, take it away, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for coming out tonight to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. We hope you'll come back and see us again real soon. The exit is on the right-hand side of the screen at the front of the field, and most importantly, have a very safe trip home. Good night, and God bless you.